One of the things I just love as a dad is having shared experiences with my kids. And today, that started off with Hannah and I both going to the dentist together to get our teeth picked at. Dana, you're not Dana. Hannah and I are going to the dentist. Hannah is going to have some, what do they call it?
Like
sealants done. And I have my very first 3 cavities ever in my entire life.
What?
Do you get nervous about this kind of thing?
Not really.
That's good. While Hannah was sitting there in that dentist chair, I was just thinking, man, my girl's so grown up. She's 8 years old now, and she's sitting there having a normal adult conversation with the dentist, asking good questions about her dental hygiene. This girl is very quickly becoming a young lady. Do you like going to the dentist?
Mm-hmm. I feel like a little bump.
A little bump back there? Filling in all those grooves so you don't get cavities and food stuck in them later.
Feels weird. Did it wear off, Daddy?
You all done? Nice job. Get your fluoride in. Now it's my turn. I'm gonna take a few shots. I got all numb over here. I got 2 shots in my mouth. And I can't feel anything. One of the memories I have as a kid growing up is watching my dad sit in a dentist chair having a tooth pulled, and it looked painful. And I said to myself, I do never ever want to have a tooth pulled. Hannah was now in the room watching me in the dentist chair, and I wasn't having a tooth pulled, but I was having a few cavities filled for the first time, and hopefully she saw all the gadgets and things that were sticking out of my mouth and the shots and needles that were going in there to make me numb and everything, and I hope she was thinking the same thing. I never want to get a cavity. I'm going to learn from my dad's mistakes. I'm going to learn from my dad, and I'm going to make sure I brush and floss. That was my problem. When the dental hygienist was teaching Hannah how to brush her teeth better so she wouldn't have as much plaque on them next time she comes in, Hannah sat there, she soaked it all in, she asked good questions, and then she demonstrated for the dentist how she was going to do it better next time. And it made me really proud to see how much my kids love learning and how much they like acquiring new skills and putting them to use in their daily personal lives. It's that time of year again where we need to start planning homeschooling for next year. Common feedback that we hear from you guys is, why don't you just send your kids to school? That would make your life so much easier. And I get the point, but there's a few things in my mind I think of. Number one is just this general principle that I try to teach my kids, is that hard work, good work, brings good reward. And usually the harder something is, like the better the reward is on the other side. This is the stack of stuff that absolutely has to be done every week. If we get through all of this stuff and we still have time, then we get to do some of this fun stuff here. These are books that the kids are gonna read on their own. These are part of their curriculum, the Timberdoodle curriculum that we use. Number two is I think of a lot of the training I'm going to have to undo with my kids. Like, yes, maybe they get their academic education, but they're gonna learn so many other things at school that I probably prefer them not to learn, at least not at this age and stage of life. Whether that be attitudes, bad language, how they view adults and their peers, and the primary influences that will be developing in their lives, things like that. And number three, and this is perhaps the biggest one for me, is that I don't think it actually will save a lot of time, because the kids are gonna come home with homework in the evenings that I'm gonna have to sit down and help them with anyway. And if that's the case, I might as well just homeschool them in the morning when it works for my schedule. Plus you add on top of the fact that we're gonna have like 7 kids and trying to get them to different schools and different grades and teachers and parent-teacher conferences and school schedules and everything. Trying to manage that with several different kids all at once, just to me sounds like way more stress than just keeping them at home and staying in charge. Keeping control. Half the battle for me with homeschooling is having a plan. We use Timberdoodle for our homeschool curriculum, which we really love because it's really flexible and it's got a lot of different options. So they give you an annual planner, and they give you a weekly checklist. Timberdoodleschedules.com has a tool where you can make your own custom schedule based on, if you're not doing 36 weeks, or you're gonna go to school all year long, or you're planning only to do school 2 or 3 times a week instead of 5. Dana's gonna do this history, the reading stuff with them. And then this is the astronomy stuff the kids really want to. And then in here they have some math questions, games and critical thinking stuff that we'll do kind of like a fun thing at the end of our school day as well. If you guys are interested in checking out Timberdoodle, we are not sponsored by them, but they did provide a lot of this material for us to use a few years ago, and so we've been digging it, really loving it. There's links in the description of this video where you can go check out their stuff and see if it's right for you guys or not, if you're thinking about using it. The plan right now is that I've blocked off on my calendar, my schedule, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. every day. Those 2 hours at least. Hopefully we can get started maybe closer to 8:30, and if I have the time I can flex past 11 o'clock. Dana will work with Hallie and Toby just as she has time and energy doing preschool stuff and kindergarten stuff with Hallie, and then just letting Toby just kind of hang out and watch and listen since he's only 2. He doesn't really need to start anything. It's easier for the younger kids to learn just because they're hanging out around it all the time. I'm so impressed with how much Hallie and Toby already know. They just pick up on it from being around it. And then number 4, there's that fact that I like my kids. I like spending time with them, and I think it's good for our relationship, for me to teach them and for them to learn from me. You know what they're learning and you can integrate it into real life. Which honestly, with our kids, is where most of this kind of clicks for them. Not as much in the book work, although that's very helpful for setting the foundation. It's when we're actually cutting the sandwiches and talking about fractions. That's when everything oh, I get it now. I enjoy seeing the light bulb moments, and I would miss if other people were having that opportunity with them every day. Whether it's going to the dentist or homeschooling your kids, at the end of the day, I think it's about spending time together and growing together as a family. So that's what we're all about. I know that's what a lot of you guys are about too. If this is your first time here, we would love to have you just follow along in our story. We got new videos coming for you guys every weekday, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.